Welcome to Traveler's Tales. I am your host, Greg Alonso. Today I will be your guide through history as we take a look at Pyrrhus, the Eagle of Epirus. Before we begin, just a quick reminder that we post new videos every Tuesday and Friday. Don't forget to hit the little bell icon to be notified each time we post new videos. Moving right along. Mythology tells us one thing, while archaeology tells us another. Pyrrhus was a Greek king and statesman of the early Hellenistic period. He was the king of the Greek tribe Molossians of the royal Aeacid house. Later he became king of Epirus and ruled over the lands of northwestern Greece and southern Albania. Pyrrhus, the eagle, a name bestowed to the king by his men, was one of the strongest opponents of early Rome and regarded as one of the greatest generals of antiquity. Several of his victorious battles caused him unacceptable heavy losses, from which the term Pyrrhic victory was coined. Who then was this enigmatic ruler who caused so much havoc between his arch-rival Demetrius of Macedon and to the early Roman Republic? In 319 before the Common Era, Pyrrhus was born to Prince Aeacides of Pyrrhus and Pythia, a Thessalian noblewoman, who was the daughter of the renowned Thessalian general Menon. Aeacides was the cousin of Olympias, the mother of Alexander the Great. Upon the death of his father, Erebus and Aeacides jointly ruled Epirus with Neoptolemus. In 307 BC, Pyrrhus was only 11 years old when he ascended to the throne by the help of Glaucias of Taulantians, one of the largest Illyrian tribes. When Pyrrhus was 17, he traveled to the court of Glaucias to attend the wedding of one of Glaucias' sons. While he was in Illyria, the Molossians rose in rebellion, drove out Pyrrhus and his supporters, and returned Neoptolemus to the throne. While in exile, Pyrrhus traveled to the Peloponnese and served his brother-in-law Demetrius Polycrates. In 302 before the Common Era, Demetrius took his army to Asia Minor to support his father, Monothalamus. Pyrrhus impressed Antigonus, who was reputed to have said that Pyrrhus would become the greatest general of his time if he lived long enough. While in Phrygia, Pyrrhus took part in the Battle of Ipsus. It was at this time that he made a brilliant display of valor. Though Antigonus lost the battle, Demetrius and Pyrrhus were able to escape with 9,000 men. In 298 before the Common Era, Pyrrhus was taken hostage to Alexandria. Under the terms of the peace treaty made by Demetrius and Ptolemy I Soter, Pyrrhus married Ptolemy's stepdaughter, Antigone. With the help of Ptolemy I, who supplied the men and funds, Pyrrhus returned to Epirus. However, rather than fight a civil war, Pyrrhus agreed to rule Epirus jointly with Neoptolemus. Nevertheless, both kings soon began plotting against one another. When Pyrrhus was informed of the plot against his life, he decided to strike first and invited his fellow king to a dinner and had him murdered. In 295 before the Common Era, Pyrrhus transferred the capital of his kingdom to the city of Ambracia. In 292 before the Common Era, Pyrrhus saw an opportunity to take control of Thessaly. While King Demetrius was out of his realm, besieging Thebes, Pyrrhus made his move. However, Demetrius was quick to respond by marching a large portion of his army to fend off the forces of Pyrrhus. Seeing that he was greatly outnumbered, Pyrrhus withdrew to Epirus. While he was back in Epirus, Pyrrhus suffered another setback. His second wife, Lanassa, deserted him. She fled to Corcyra with her dowry, offering it and herself to Demetrius. The king accepted, sailed to Corcyra, and took possession of Lanassa and her dowry. Upon his return to mainland Greece, Demetrius made plans to invade Epirus. Pyrrhus raised an army of close to 25,000 men and set out to meet the forces of Demetrius. While Pyrrhus was engaged in a battle with Pantacus, whose forces roughly numbered 11,000 men, the fighting was heavy and both armies suffered many losses. Pyrrhus then challenged Pantacus to single combat. Both men were wounded and Pantacus had to be carried off the field by his bodyguards. Once the battle resumed, Pyrrhus's army prevailed and took 5,000 prisoners. Hearing of the defeat of Pentacus, Demetrius halted attack on Epirus and returned to his kingdom. In 289 before the Common Era, learning that Demetrius was dangerously ill, Pyrrhus attacked and penetrated the Macedonian capital of Aigai. Once Demetrius was able to take the field due to his superior forces, Pyrrhus had no choice but to retreat back to Epirus. In 288 before the Common Era, Pyrrhus formed several alliances with neighboring kings and invaded Macedon and eventually routed the forces of Demetrius. Once again, Pyrrhus and Demetrius made peace, but it did not last. Demetrius launched an attack on Athens. The Athenians called on Pyrrhus for assistance, and once again he marched against Demetrius. Once Demetrius had been defeated, he and Pyrrhus settled into an uneasy peace. This brings us to the end of Pyrrhus, the Eagle of Epirus. Thank you for joining us for this edition of Traveler's Tales. Just a reminder that we post new videos every Tuesday and Friday. Don't forget to hit the little bell icon to be notified each time we post new videos. For your convenience, we have also posted our email address and Instagram information. We enjoy hearing from our subscribers and encourage you to contact us with any questions or comments you may have. If you haven't subscribed to Traveler's Tales, please do. This really is the best way to help our channel grow. Traveler's Tales will return with part 2 of Pyrrhus, the Eagle of Epirus. Until we meet again at the crossroads of folklore and fact, Kartistos.